Welcome, viewers. Apologies for the jump scare of seeing people on camera here. And welcome to a very special episode of the Silver Screen Podcast. You'll know my voice. I am regular host Mike Wilson. I'm here all the bloody time. And this is an episode that I've been planning for a little while. I was going to introduce you to the music of a good friend of mine, this chap right here. It was something I was planning to do anyway, but this has basically ended up being something of a Meet the Creators segment. Because since agreed to do it, my friend here has agreed to cover the podcast music. So there's going to be a big change around. You'll notice little bits of musical changes, and instead of doing generic, royalty-free rubbish every now and then, you'll start hearing some good music. And now we know who to thank for it. He will, of course, be credited. But before I go any further, I do have to introduce him. I used to know this chap as Al Churchill back in school. I've known him since high school. Professionally, he goes by Al Trotter. Welcome to the podcast, Al.
Thank you very much for having us, Mike. Really appreciate it. And hello, everybody.
So, this is kind of going to be, like I said, it's basically an exploration of Al's music journey. I kind of wanted to expand the podcast into areas other than just film. We will touch on film and TV. Don't worry if you're into that kind of thing. But we are also going to talk more about music and the way that it's influenced Al's life and the kind of the music that he makes, basically. So, with that in mind, I kind of have to ask the obvious first question, Al, which is, what was it that drew you to making music? Can you remember the first sort of music that you heard that was like, I want to do stuff like that, or the first kind of inspiration that you ever had?
Well, that spans right the way back to when I was a toddler, I would say.
Right.
So from 2, 3, 4, because I was brought up basically centered around music. My father. He had like an enormous vinyl collection with all different sort of eras, all different types of songs. So, I used to sit with him when he used to record and put on the tape, because back then only cars had tape decks. And so kind of just always found it to be very, very peaceful to like really into. And always wanted to be able to, I don't know, my first thing was, I always wanted to learn to play drums.
All right.
I think I was about 4 or 5 when I kind of realised that.
Right.
And when I was 6, I got my first drum kit.
Okay.
Would you like to know what inspired us?
Yeah,
music.
Was there a song or a particular band or anything that was an inspiration?
Yes, there was, and I think quite a lot of the listeners out there would probably think, this is fun, but we'll put this in for some comedic effect, right?
Right.
So I was, as I say, about 4 or 5 when I realised I wanted to play drums. And what inspired me was one Christmas, my parents bought me a cassette tape, and it was Bros, the very first album, Bros. And nice. I always wanted to be a Matt Goss, even though it was Luke Goss who was the drummer. But I used to dress like Matt Goss.
You were always wondering when you'd be famous, really.
Well, exactly.
You see what I did there?
Yes, exactly. That was a nice little music quote you slid in there. I love that one.
Gotta do it.
But yeah, that was, so I used to dress, so I had the jacket, the jeans and everything. And I went through a phase of anything that was around, I would hit and tap.
Oh, yeah.
Just anything to sort of make any drums.
Got you.
And my father, he was like a massive Phil Collins fan.
Oh,
so
nice.
I used to listen to quite a lot of Phil as well. And that was just absolutely amazing. And I think by listening to Phil, that was when I really sort of thought, God, I want to be able to do that. I would love to be able to do that. And my parents got us my first drum kit, and probably about 8 or 9. I could be wrong, but no doubt my father will probably correct us because he's going to be listening to this.
Look in the comments if you want the correct story.
Yeah. So they got us my first kit, and started getting us give us lessons at home.
Okay.
And then after that, I advanced to a much bigger kit, which I think I got when I was about 12. I do believe.
Right.
12 years old when I'd gotten that. And I was just drum mad. I would have like songs playing in my room, and I'll be playing along to them. And then got my first gig at the old Blythe Waller Picture House. Remember that one?
Oh yes.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Triple screen cinema back in the
Yes,
day.
triple screen one indeed. And got my first gig there doing a couple of musicals, Trial by Jury and That's Entertainment. And then from there, I just kind of got discovered by other people to go and play in various different shows and in like different areas over the Northeast.
Yeah.
And absolutely loved it and just never ever looked back.
Awesome.
You know, it was great.
Cool. And I have to ask, don't be embarrassed because I'm sure the listeners will have their own ones. But can you remember the first sort of music that you ever owned for yourself?
That's a good question. First music I ever owned for myself. Well, obviously we've mentioned Ross there, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
I got given a hi-fi system. For what? It was lovely as well. I had the vinyl and the A and B.
Yes, we're old.
Oh yes, old. Very, very old. Back in the days where things were black and white.
Yeah. Hi-fi's kind of like an MP3 player that was bigger.
much bigger. It was, I had got two vinyls, one large album and one was a 45 single. And the vinyl, the large vinyl that I got was Jason Donovan's greatest hits.
Nice.
when he had just went onto the music scene after leaving Neighbours. Yeah. And the 45 was a song that still gets played to this day. Chesney Hawkes is the one and only.
Oh, it's a banger of a song. I love that song.
Absolutely amazing. And then after that, I kind of went solo in a sort of way because I wanted to like expand on like other like music genres.
Okay.
So I went from like 60s, right? And something that still peeves me father to this day is that he doesn't understand why I'm an Elvis Presley fan.
All right. Okay.
Right? He's like, what possesses your son? Have I not taught you anything? Right?
More Beatles guy, is he?
I think he liked a couple of the Beatles, but he's more like he likes some sort of like late 60s and 70s, you say, because he was like a 70s teenager, and that's how I got brought up on like his music, you see.
Yeah.
So like back in the day when you could go out and you could buy an album or you could buy a vinyl, 45 for like 70 odd pence. I used to love film music and like TV music.
Right.
So I used to kind of like delve. So I started delving into all of that, but we'll touch on the TV and film.
Oh yeah, we'll
a little bit further down the line.
Yeah. Fair enough. This is where I'm going to have our first intermission, and I should clarify for you guys because I didn't yet, because I'm a bad interviewer. As we go, we're going to talk about basically Al's kind of repertoire, I guess, of music. He's given me a list of them, and I kind of want to talk about them as we go, and then hopefully I'll be able to insert some clips so that you can hear a little bit of what they're about. There will be links in the episode description to be able to go and watch the whole things, because they're all on YouTube, and I will recommend checking it out. So the first song that I wanted to talk about is a song called "The Infinity of Dreams." Do you want to talk a little bit about how that came about? And
The Infinity of Dreams. Yeah, that came about. We hadn't long lost my grandfather.
Oh, right.
And it was my father that had kind of started writing the actual lyrics off on it. I think he only put down about two or three lines.
Right.
And he came to mind this one particular day, and he went, I've just got some like words in my head, and he went, I've just put them down. He says, I wonder if you want to put anything and see if it would turn into something. I said, all right, okay. So I read a show was only about 4 lines, but as I got through about the second line, I could start picturing this story.
Uh-huh.
I was starting to get this story, and the like words were just flowing, and I was just writing down. And you know, when you actually listen to the song, what it mainly touches on is, like, say a couple, and say one of their partners has passed away, and it's about how the other partner is like struggling.
Right.
And normally back in like those days, it was always the man who sort of struggled by losing the wife.
I see. Yeah.
Because when it happened, me grandfather, he was just completely lost.
I see.
You know, I mean, like woman, like, it's like love of his life, and she was like, sure, it wasn't there. You know, and he really struggled to sort of cope. So when you actually listen to the song, the actual lyrics are telling the story about how he is actually suffering, but towards the end of the song, you like know that he's passed away, but it's not to be anything sad about, because he's now back.
I see.
With his actual partner.
Yeah.
So that was really sort of also the like first couple of lines that my father wrote down. I just came up and I thought, just off 3 lines, I thought, yeah, I can do something with this, you know. And so when you actually listen to it, and it's something that I always say to people, is that when you listen to a song, don't just listen to the music, listen to the lyrics, because 9 times out of 10, it's telling you an actual story.
Yeah.
And then the music slots around that actual story.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. The music's an important part, but obviously the lyrics, as you say, are telling them the story.
Absolutely.
Talk to us a little bit about what happened when you were kind of 10 years old, and what led you to Wesley Point Middle School, that we ended up both attending and not realising at the time.
Yes. Yeah, well, like ships are passing the night.
Well, we did meet in high school and kind of made friends then, but we didn't realise we'd been at the same middle school.
I know. Well, that was quite a funny story. Yeah, I ended up at Wesley Burn because I was expelled from my first school for being, well, naughty.
Well, I mean,
basically,
that was how they put it in simplistic terms. But we've learned a bit more about that.
Yeah,
since, you know.
I mean, Ali didn't have a sort of fancy title. Yeah. You know, it was just he's naughty, and we just don't want him in the school. So, and I was hanging around with like bad kids at the time, really.
All right. That's not me, by the way.
No. He's miles worse. Him, honestly, miles worse. But so I was kind of, you know, with a like bad crew, and yeah, we were like 10-year-old, but it could have turned out worse, where you could have went down a life of crime or whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
So when I went to West Sleekburn, I remember because we used to have them blocks, didn't we? We used to have the music block and the geography block that was separate from the school. You know, they were like small prisons, weren't they? Really,
it's kind of complicated to explain, but they were kind of like little caravans.
They were caravans.
That's basically
they were actually propped up on bricks as well, weren't they? No, that was a funny thing. But there was a drum kit that was set up like in the music block, and I was at the time the kid whose behaviour was getting monitored. Because I was a loose cannon, I was a rebel, I was like all of that, you know. You know, I was like a little bit wee, a little bit woo, a little bit. I'm a geezer from the northeast. I'm a geezer. So I was sitting playing, and Steve Bray, who was the music teacher at the school,
he was the deputy head,
and he was the deputy head as well. Yeah, and he came in and he discovered that had the talent.
Okay.
So then I started getting further tuition at school.
Okay.
So I had a drum peripatetic that came out of my house. It was called Bob Stevenson.
All right.
And he's definitely worth a mention, because he got me into doing all the operatic. And then there was Jeff Hutchinson, who came out of school. He was also my peripatetic. Also, again, he deserves some massive credit, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have gotten accepted to play for the Northumberland County.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And completed a grade 8 percussion exam. I was the youngest in the Northeast at the time to actually do it. I was 13.
Excellent.
And you were supposed to be about 18 to be able to do that, but
Yeah.
I'd advanced through. So, and then I got into the county, symphony orchestras, jazz orchestras, played all over, and it was just absolutely brilliant. Absolutely loved it.
I have to ask, what's a peripatetic? Because
it's basically a fancy term for teacher.
Oh, okay, fair
enough. Yeah. It's just I wanted to try and sound really posh.
Okay. Just like put my head, and I know that our listeners will
I just thought myself, I want to be really posh, but can I also say the word?
Yeah.
I was really proud that I could say it, so I'm thinking that's a big word for you, Al.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Big word
No,
for
I do remember you actually being ahead of your age. When we knew each other in high school, you were doing gradings and things that were way advanced for the age, even though you were 15 at the time.
15.
And so you've always had that kind of.
We did some good shows there. We did like Alice in Wonderland. I remember doing that one. And I was in high school, and I remember Steve Bray, who approached Viv Wilkinson, who again, she also deserves a lot of recognition, because I mean, she sort of pushed me into doing loads, but again, we'll cover all of that. And I remember Steve going to Viv and saying, can I use him, because I want to put on a production of Joseph at West Sleekburn.
Okay.
And so would he want to come and do the drums? He went, it's for like a week. And at first she was a bit iffy, because I would be missing band practice.
Got you. Yeah.
So the band practice, that it wasn't like another drummer. So the pieces that were getting played really needed drums, so it wouldn't have sounded right. But she was very, I don't know, okay, go on then, yes, you can have them. It was like, oh cheers, thanks. Yes, here, you can sort of have them. I'm thinking, hang on, am I stuck between two divorced parents here or what? No, I don't want them. No, you can have them. I don't want them.
Have them.
It's your weekend for them. I don't want them. But absolutely brilliant. I managed to do loads of shows and get me a foot into the door with loads of things.
I do know as well that the head teacher of West Sleekburn Middle School was kind of a performer himself.
He was.
He must have come into contact with you.
He certainly was. Yes, he certainly was. He was the one that got me into doing my first live show down at the Blythe Waller.
Oh yeah.
Doing the Trial by Jury, and that's entertainment.
To your second song that you want to talk about now, in that case, which is called "A Song in My Heart." Would you like to tell us about how that came about?
Well, that one actually came about while I was out driving a bus, and this, no idea where it came from. I just got a load of lyrics like into my head. I got a picture of the piano in my head, knowing what chords to sort of play it. And I would say that A Song in My Heart is possibly one of my favourite ones that I'm more proud of that I've actually written.
Okay.
Because it only took me 8 minutes to compose.
Wow. Okay.
I basically literally got the tune in my head, and I knew exactly where the tune, the melody, the chords, everything was on the piano. And I finished my duty at work, and I went home, and I just sat, played it, and so the lyrics and the whole music, including the whole musical score, because I had written for flute for it as well. It took us 8 minutes.
Wow.
To do, and that was the second song to get produced over in the United States.
Oh, cool. So what was the inspiration behind that then? What's the kind of story behind
Well, the story about that is very similar to the actual first one. I mean, it's actually been a long time since I've actually read the lyrics myself. And I was one that wrote it. But it basically it goes on about grief and how that person will always be with you. And I think there's a line in it that if I could turn back time and go back to the start, I will sing for you the song in my heart. It's basically about love and loss, where it's you might not have been able to fully show your emotion to the other partner.
Yeah.
So that's how the relationships ended. And now that person's sort of thinking, well, hang on here. I really wish that if I'd done this different, if I had done like that sort of different. But they'll always, it's basically about grief and about just the normal loss of like an actual relationship.
I see.
So yeah.
Is that based on anything in your life? Because I've noticed in a lot of it, it's just kind of you processing your emotions.
No. I would say it. I wouldn't even. I would say it's definitely not from like sort of like my like perspective, but it's like I just got a like story.
I see.
Just it was sort of like a like random story.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody who like writes a film, you'd always want to start and think, well, okay, then I've got these words here for the story, and I can write that. Oh yeah, and it can lead to this. Oh yeah, it can lead to that.
Yeah.
And I think that's basically.
Okay. I want to get into a little bit later on about kind of high school and stuff, but when you were in high school, you did end up back at Westleigh-Burn, even though you had obviously graduated from middle school at that point. And yeah, what was it that you ended up back there doing, and you know what happened there?
Well, that was when I went back to do the Joseph.
Joseph and Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yeah, Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat. A show which I've done loads in my life. You know, that's The Sound of Music. I've done that loads as well. But all of them that I've done has been great. But it led us to going back to Westleigh-Burn to do my work experience.
Oh yeah.
Because I wanted to actually be a music teacher.
Right.
That was my goal. So I was allowed to sit in on classes, and I'm like 15 at the time, and I'm like helping to teach kids that are like in years 5, 6, and 7. And so that was my sort of plan to actually go on and do that. And I remember it was Steve Bray that had said to me, you know, that he says, well, is it definitely something that you would want to do? He says, and he went, even though you aren't a pupil here, he says, but you can always pop back in, you can always come back and see us for advice, you know. So it was always great to know that I had that support, you know, and it was from a like teacher who, when I first went to the school and I was a toe rag, right, it was he like could have been the sort of teacher to go, that kid's not going to amount anything, we're just not going to, but he didn't, he like put time in. And then from at the end to say that, and he said that how I was working with the kids and things I was doing was, it was really, really good. He said that I had, you know, teaching potential.
Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to move on to your third song now because we have a few to get to. Would you like to tell us about the tale of the quiet man and what that's all about?
The Tale of the Quiet Man.
I guess it's not about the John Wayne film.
No, it's not. And you're not the first one to actually say that. You know, so no, it's definitely not about that. Again, it was that one written. It was a story that a friend of mine had told us that he had lost his friend. His friend had taken his own life.
Wow.
And this was due to his wife and child being killed in a car accident. And he was at work. Now, I didn't know my friend's friend.
I see.
But I remember my friend telling me about the story.
Yeah.
And he used to, the way that he used to talk about his friend. Yeah, his friend was like married and he had a child who, fortunately, his wife and child had passed away tragically. But he was like just saying like about how much he kind of like just like withdrew like into himself.
Yeah.
And he would just wander the like streets, and he would look so unkempt and just, you know, and he just wasn't the same sort of person. You know, and he actually ended up being told, well, his nickname became the Quiet Man.
I see. Okay.
Which was quite funny because that used to be my grandfather's name. Well, his nickname, my granddad Trotter, he was known as a Quiet Man as well. So when I kind of put that title on, I thought using that title, it's kind of like links in with sort of both, because I was really struggling to actually find a title. I had written it, but I was really struggling to find a title, and nothing would come up. When I was spitting and going through, the Quiet Man, and I thought, well, he's a story. So and unfortunately, the gentleman had taken his own life. So my friend told me about what had happened, and it was horrendous. And I again just started thinking, I could maybe try and do something nice, you know, and write this piece. So I had written, started to write out all of it, and it was just the title that I just couldn't get the title. I had a full block, right? And when he had mentioned that like people would start calling him the Quiet Man, and it triggered about my own grandfather. I went, Quiet Man. So I tried different titles, various titles with the Quiet Man in it, you know, and then I suddenly came up with Tale of the Quiet Man because it's a story. So the opening lines are, "This is the tale of the quiet man, the man who has a story to tell." Now, this gentleman did obviously have a story to tell, but he basically isolated himself from the outside world, so there wasn't anyone to talk to. But like people who could actually see him and who like who knew him, they would often look and go, you know, he was the sort of bloke where you look and go, I bet you have a story to tell, you know. And that was how that sort of went. But when I wrote it, I didn't want it to be a heavy piece. So it's just me on piano and the producer from down in London who I work with. He's playing guitar and he's doing vocal. So I just wanted. So I did the piano, I did the harmony of the strings in the choir, but there's no drums. So when you like listen to like say what we talked about before, like a song in my heart, that's very sort of, it's got like a like rock feel, you know, and it really kind of like, oh yeah, you know, it's like sort of journey feel of it, you know.
All right. Yeah.
And then you go from that to a tale of a quiet man, and I've always tried to be like an actual sort of writer where I don't want any other song to sound the same.
Okay.
You know, it's like if you know like, an actual like true a true music artist, you would be able to, yes, I can blast out a song that sounds like Journey, Don't Stop Believing, or something, or Busting More Than the Feeling. Yeah, I can blast all that out. Yeah, but they'll tend to go through it and it's the same, and you think, well, that sounds like the same as the other one. But if you sit down and you like apply to it, you can, and if you've got the talent to actually do it, you can just sit there and write and just change the feel and change the genre.
Yeah.
And so that was, so to go from that to go to like that, I've had a couple of people saying, is that written by you as well?
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, yeah. It's like, all right, well, we've heard you like other stuff, which we'll touch on later. And then they say, and then you've like done that. We'll say, oh yeah. And they'll go, there isn't any drums in it though. I say, yeah, I know that there's no drums in it. I says the drums weren't in. I says because it's not that sort of piece that you would sort of It's more it's more on the like unplugged like acoustic sort of feel.
Obviously, like I said, the way that I came to know you was when we were both in high school.
That's right.
I'm a little bit older, so I was a couple of years above you. But I think it was probably because I started dating a mutual friend of ours, Claire, who was always hanging around the music block and with what was, I think, semi-affectionately referred to as the music block freaks, I think, in our school.
Yeah, that was that's something which I still giggle about to this day. That was our title out there, listeners. I was known as the music freak. You know?
And I mean, we've discussed it at length personally that it's kind of, I mean, we were both regarded as freaks for different reasons and some of the same reasons, and we came to kind of regard it as a badge of honor, I guess, almost.
Absolutely.
And just thought, oh, well, what the heck, you know, there's nothing wrong. And I was an honorary music block guy because, like I said, I was dating somebody who was very in there. So I kind of came to know the area, and that's how I kind of met you, and that's how I learned, you know, the kind of person that Viv Wilkinson was.
Yeah.
Who was very supportive of everyone. You know,
she was. She
had a passion for music. So do you want to tell us a little bit about like how you met Viv and how you came to be one of the music block crew?
I actually met Viv when I was still in West Fleetburn.
All right.
Because what used to happen was that when we used to have like concerts, most times whoever was a like music teacher from say Benny's or from like over like in Blythe, one of the high schools or whatnot, they would come over because they would get wind that these students were coming to their school. So they kind of would come out and they would like watch you and think, well, that could be a place for like you in the orchestra. So that was how Viv kind of heard about. So Viv came up and spoke to me when I was in Sleekburn, and she asked what high school I was going to, and I said I was going to Bedfordshire. And she went, all right. She says, well, you know, I'm Mrs. Wilkinson and I'm the music teacher there. She went, I've heard you play. She went, I hope that you'll be taking music and was like, oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I said I'll be here doing that. So then when I went to the high school, it was, already known that I was there. So yeah, that was basically with Viv, and and we used to she used to take me away and everything. Yeah.
Oh, she was. I mean, she was a music teacher, but she was
yeah.
basically she did all of the after school activities when it came to music and bands and things like that as well.
We used to have the breaks away on like a weekend to either where was it? I think it was mainly Dean Home. There was a place called Dean Home, which I think's now closed down. But it was this centre, very very eerie, haunting centre. You could definitely. It's definitely a scene from a film because you just had this centre and like around it was just woods and trees and there was nothing beyond it. It was really creepy and very eerie, and the whole building was like, well, if it was in this day and age, major health and safety risk, right? But we used to go there because what we used to do is we used to tour like all of the middle schools with the high school band, and we used to play. And then we would get to know the kids who were in year 8, what school were they going to, and if they wanted to play in a band. And we used to say, well, look, this is the high school band, nothing to be scared of, like sort of thing. So it was kind of giving them a feel of what it was like.
Yeah, it's the way that they did for you.
Yeah, and again, it's because like teachers from one school talk to teachers from like another school, and that's how that.
It's all trying to
came about.
What's the word? It's trying to basically motivate that talent, really, isn't it?
Well,
keep it going in different generations. As people would graduate and leave, people would come in, and it was a question of would you like to join the band and whatever.
And they just want to carry it on going, and absolutely amazing.
Awesome. So I want to move to the next song now. The song with a very kind of obvious sounding title, but an intriguing one: "Broken Heart."
Yes, Broken Heart. Well, I didn't write the lyrics for that.
Okay, you didn't?
No, I didn't. Okay. No. Funny story. I was out one Saturday afternoon in one of the local pubs, having a pint, and got chatting to this young lad that was working behind the bar, and he had known me from my TikTok page. And he was like, oh, I really likes me stuff. And then he started telling me about how he was just starting to get into music. And he said to us, he says, what I really want to do is to be an actual songwriter.
Okay.
And he went, right. So he says, I've written this song. He says, if I send you the lyrics, can you have a look at it for us?
Okay.
And I went, yeah. I says, absolutely. So exchange numbers. And he sent them through, and I read them, and there was just a couple of places that needed to be tweaked, right? But it wasn't anything major. And I sent him text back, and I went, "Is this your first song that you've written?" And he went, "Yeah." I went, "Your first time putting pen to paper, and you wrote this?" And he went, "Yeah." Why? He went, "Is it awful?" I went, "No." I says, "You don't know what you've actually written here, do you?" And he went, "Well, what?" I says, I went, what made you actually write this? And he just went, "I just got words in my head." And he went, "I've just put them down." I says, "It's great." I went, it does need to be tweaked. I went, "How would you feel if I just tweaked with it?" Because as I was reading it, it was starting to form like in my own head. And I'm going, well, rather than saying that with a line, you could kind of say that, because then it's fitting in with what's previously being said. And I'd said to him, I says, "Well, what do you want to do?" I says, "I can have a word with my producer down in London." Okay. I says, "And we'll see." And and the thing he was panicking about was because he had just started to like learn to play guitar.
All right.
So he was like, "Look," and I says, "Well, look," I says, "how would you feel if you just do the lyrics? I'll kind of tweak it, but you take credit for the lyrics, right? I won't take credit for that." I says, "And how would you feel about me writing the musical score?"
I see.
And he went, "Yeah, fine, great." So I'd wrote the score. I think me and him worked on it for about 6 months. So I was like sending various snippets and recordings over, going, "Look, is it good?" And he was really polite because he was going down to go, oh yeah, it's absolutely great. I went, you do realise that you can't say no. If you actually say that you don't like it, I'm not going to be offended.
Yeah.
Right? It's fine. I says, because it's one thing that I love. I like to hear people giving me criticism.
Okay.
Because I don't want to just hear people go, oh yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. I want them to come and say, look, I personally don't really like it, but I'm not going to, throw a tantrum and spit my dummy out and all that, because then it's pointless me, being an actual musician.
Yeah.
Because, you're just giving up at the first hurdle. But the reason why I embrace all of the negative criticism is because it helps me write better.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, and it helps. So he kind of got to the stage of where he was like saying, well, is there anything else that you could put in? But I don't really like that. Yeah, sure, absolutely fine. And the lad is he's called Mark Taylor, and he lives in the Asherton area, only a young lad, but he's kind of gone from doing that to actually now he's producing.
All
now.
right. Okay.
So if there's anybody out there that would ever, it's like looking for a local producer, then I actually know no one who I work very closely with, and he's brilliant. But even to this day, he's like saying that he didn't have a story.
Yeah.
But it was just words that just came in, and it was his very, very, very first song. So I sent it down to London, and the guy went, he went, this is amazing, this. He went, yeah. So we drafted in it, a percussionist. I was on piano for it, and we just linked in and we recorded from various different areas, linked it all in, and then he had a song and he was absolutely made up about it.
Cool. Well, that does lead us to what I wanted to talk about next, because that was obviously, you didn't handle the lyrics for that, but you did handle the musicality part of it, the score, as it were. And I remember that's kind of how we kind of bonded over a little bit of music, talking about geeky type things. Because I remember when I knew you in high school, that was when I first learned that you had this amazing ability to hear something and play it back by ear.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can recall this, but I think it was, we were both fans of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Again, that's how old we are.
Still am. Absolutely, still am.
But this was like when it was first airing, like as it was going in the late 90s. And I remember you playing I think Christoph Beck's Buffy Angel Love theme, which I knew.
Close Your Eyes.
Yeah. And,
which I've now forgotten,
Really?
I've forgotten that,
I'm sure you would take it back up if you listen to it again.
I know, and it was, and that was the first instrumental piece that I learned by ear.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was the Jenny and Giles love theme.
All right, okay.
That was the second one that I had to learn. That one was just a little bit straightforward because it was basically just chords. It was like the same sort of like three or four chords played over and over, just in like a slightly different like arrangement. But for my first instrumental piece to learn by ear was Christoph Beck's Close Your Eyes.
Wow.
And I've forgotten it. I would basically now have to sit there and listen to it again and then sit and go, oh, that's it. Oh.
Yeah. But I remember it was like magic to me, because obviously I knew it really well, and it's from the emotional moment of the show, and when I heard it back and it was exactly the same, I was like, no idea how you do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is something that must have started somewhere. And I do believe it started, and it does tie into movies again. It was an 80s movie, which was the first time you realized.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was an 80s movie, and it was a lass at school who was a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
And very, very, very good dancer as well. I don't know if she carried on like doing any dancing. I haven't seen her in years. But she approached me saying, because we were doing the Greatest Show, not like the Greatest Showman. It was just the name of the show that we're putting on, and Viv just went, "Oh, we'll just call it the Greatest Show," because it was just different people that were coming on and doing various different acts and all of that. So hers was the dancing act, and she went, "Oh, I want to do this, blah blah blah." I was like, "All right, well, because I'm an '80s child and a geek." and a music freak, yes, I do know what you're on about, but I couldn't find the actual score for it, and I thought it would have been in like one of my books, but it wasn't. And she tried having a look for the sheet music, but back then it was more difficult to get sheet music that was dated way back. It's easier now because you can do it online, but back then you couldn't. So I had listened to the song, and I was just thinking, God, wait, I can't find the music for it. And then I was sitting in my own room at my parents' house, and I just sat at the piano and I just started playing chords. Right, I wasn't like looking for anything in particular. I was just playing. And then I played these few chords, and I went, that sounds like the song that she's wanting. So I went, okay, then if I'm playing that, and then from there I could work out the actual key of the piece, work out the scale, work out what actual time signature it's in, and playing it. I was like, yeah, that definitely does sound like Irene Cara's Flashbacks, right? So I kind of worked it all out. So I just played a couple of chords, and I just went ding, 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 ding. And then the fingers just kind of did all the talking for us. It just sort of like moved up and then moved down, and then I just had to break down as to where it was. But yeah, that was me first proper song that I had to learn by ear. And then it just kind of went, and then from there, it was like it just became a massive hobby of mine. I would purposely sit and just listen to random music and go, okay, then if I can sit here and work all that out. And I used to be able to spend hours just sitting at home on my own.
Oh yeah,
and just listening to stuff and playing it. And even now, when I like tell people, oh yeah, I can listen to a song and play it, I've had folk go, you're not normal.
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, that's, you started off copying, as it were, other people's things, although, it's a skill within itself. And that led eventually to you writing your own music. And that's why you started doing your own original compositions and things from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next one I wanted to talk about in that case is probably one of my favorites because it's my kind of music, The Devil's Choir.
The Devil's Choir. Yeah. Again, that's a song that doesn't have, hasn't got a story behind it. I haven't written it for thingy, but how that song came about, because I think I've already told, I do believe I've told you this as well. How that song came about was one Saturday I was off work and I was having a Buffy the Vampire Slayer marathon, right? And I was watching season 4, and obviously if anybody out there who watches Buffy, season 4, you had the Beast and Angel lose his soul again, but he has to in order to learn about the Beast and whatnot.
That's season 4 of Angel, not
Buffy. Sorry, that's season 4 Angel. Christ, even I'm getting that wrong, right? So it sort of like links in, and I was just watching it, and I've seen the episode loads of times, even though I've got the show wrong. But no, and it was just a scene where the like Beast sort of like just comes out, and the actual music that was played on it, and I was like, oh, that was good. I was like, all right. And then I just got this thing because he like had the like devil's horns, and he was and I thought, all right, yeah. And then I just basically again sitting at the piano, and I just started playing like just these haunting notes, and one thing led to another, and within about 5 minutes, I had written all of these lyrics down, and just working on the music, it just got like this picture in my head that I wanted it to sound like something from a TV show like Buffy the Angel, but not copying anything that was done by previous composers, but something like that. I wanted to kind of test myself to see, could I write something like that? It was sort of, it was, and I'm thinking, sort of like, if I could like write that, what's not to say that years down the line that could be used on some kind of sci-fi like American film. So it was kind of me wanting to test, to sort of step out of my comfort zone, because quite a lot of people did say, from like obviously fellow like musicians, had said that piece for me was stepping out of your comfort zone.
All right.
And when they say what inspired you from it, it was, I said it was an episode from season 4, Angel. I got it right that time. It's easy to get confused between the pair of the shows,
Yeah, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, they all link in, don't they? So
At least you didn't say Firefly or something, I suppose.
No. Yeah.
No, that's really cool. I remember that episode of that series, and yeah, it does sound like of that type without being an exact copy. I can totally see how tonally it fits that. So yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, we've talked about your journey and how you started writing your music and stuff. And I mean, there was a period where you stopped writing and you stopped kind of doing music for a while.
Yeah.
Don't need to get fully into it, but that's a kind of a combination of, as I've said, we were always bullied for these things, and you go through a lot of that, and you get a lot of stick and start to wonder if it's worth it, and all the rest of it. Then you have other people that will take advantage of you, that will, try to use your talent for their own purposes, or, will use it to the naivety, I guess, of it to try and take advantage in various ways. So that led to you, as obviously having a big break, as it were, from music.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. And actually, I had decided then that I wasn't going to do it anymore. It was like, I just kind of thought, well, I'm getting quite a lot of jib. There's a very, very fine line between, like, say, writing something and having somebody to, like, say, give you, like, constructive criticism, which is what I touched on earlier when I said that I actually embrace, because it helps me write. If people are saying, I don't really like it, it's like, well, yeah, okay, great. But then when I come to write the next bit, but when people are just, like, being just horrible, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stigma against people that do arts, really, isn't it?
And so you just think that, I just want a quiet life.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to kind of not do anything more on it. And I just used to say it, and it was one thing that used to drive my father nuts, right? It used to drive him nuts, because I used to just refer to music as a hobby. I just used to say, well, it's like just a hobby. It's not a hobby. sick of telling you, stop calling it. You have a talent and you should be sure. And right, and I'm going, no, look, it's just something that I do. I'll just sit there and dabble. I'll tinkle away on the old piano, and that's mainly it. But I'm not doing anything. Oh, son, man, you should be doing that. Should be doing that. But it was purely because I didn't know how other people would sort of like perceive it,
Yeah.
thinking, well, is it going to be like what it was like when we were younger?
Yeah.
But I don't know. But as I say, something just kind of clicked, and then I just suddenly started playing again, started writing. I have written a lot of songs, but most of them I've just, as the term used to be used, you just left them on the record floor.
All right.
It's like you've like written it and then looked and went, I don't know, I didn't really want that. So I did start to write, but purely just for like me. But then I suddenly thought, no, I'm going to get back into it because I want to get out there what I can actually do, and I might be able to help people, and I might be able to find some work of my own. And it has led to great things, doing the songs, and then you asking me to link in to do the songs, to do the music for your Air podcast.
Absolutely.
Which is absolutely brilliant. So I've made the right choice by getting back into it.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm at the stage of my life now where people can say what they want, because I know in myself that I've got a good life. I've got a good group of friends, right? Certain Mr. Meg W here. And I love what I'm actually doing, and I'm passionate about what I actually do. And I'm always willing to help anybody out there. For them to like come and talk to us, more so any like young, aspiring, like young musicians that are coming up. Yeah, it can be very, very scary. But my advice would be to them is don't do what I did and just give up. Yeah. Right. Just go ahead. If you've got a talent, you just go out there and you just show it off, and then you just like use all of that. I mean, I had been chastised from people who I thought were friends. I mean, even by my own family. There was people in my own family that were, mocking us for actually doing it. Yeah. But now that's just all in the past now. Yeah. And I focus on like the here and now. Yeah. And it's all been, and since me doing the music again, it's all just been positive. Yeah. And I've been able to help quite a lot of people. Yeah.
So I mean, as you did kind of get back into music, you started your own TikTok page, which, as I say, we will link.
Yes.
And that kind of got you over.
I no longer have the TikTok page.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
I used to. I no longer have it. As per usual, it got hacked.
Ah, right.
Scammers.
Right.
And I had a lot of people that were, just keep on trying to hack it. So I kind of closed it down, and that's when I went onto Facebook.
I see.
I'm now on Facebook. Unfortunately, not all of the work that I did on like TikTok is actually on there, but all of my songs are. But I know that you're linking in.
Yeah, I'll link to your Facebook and your YouTube page and everything as well. And but that was basically the reason I mentioned it was that was where kind of people would find you and would ask you to kind of do songs for them, as it were, to come up with something and compose something for them. And
they would message. I had over about 1,000 plus fans, and I didn't have to pay for a single one of them. Whereas normally you have to if you're on TikTok.
None of our subscribers are paid for. I should clarify.
I built my own fan base up just like through my own work, and I used to have people that would like text us and go, "Oh, it's coming up to like our anniversary. This was the song that was played on my first dance at my wedding. Is there any chance, Al, that you can like learn it by ear and play it on piano and send it over?" Yeah, absolutely great. Yeah, by all means, just tell us what song you want. I'll whack it on YouTube, have a little listen, sort it out for you, send it back. And it was the most smallest thing, but they were so happy. They were really, really, really grateful.
Yeah.
And then, as I say, a colleague of my father's, it was her husband's 60th, and they wanted that, and she asked if I would play the like song. So I think she like piped it through. So it was just they wanted the nice instrumental. It was Cherished by Kool and the Gang.
All right.
You know, so that had that and sent that, and apparently that went down really well.
Awesome.
But yeah, I used to get loads of like people going, "Oh, I've been watching this show on the air telly. Is there any way that you can learn the theme tune?" The very first TV theme tune I got asked to learn was Gary Portnoy from Cheers.
Oh, of course,
where Everybody Knows Your Name.
Oh, great song.
I used to get asking loads for that one. The second one was from a show called Boone.
Oh, I know it well.
And they wanted Jim Diamond, Hi Ho Silver. Right. So that was the like second one, and then to like send it all out, and then it was coming out. Oh, can you play the theme tune from Minder? Yeah, right.
I could be so good for you.
Yes, I went, absolutely, of course, I can be so good for you. Yeah.
Write the theme tune, send the theme tune.
So it kind of got into doing the like TV, and then the like film started. The asking us, you know, if I could, you know, can you learn the theme for Welcome to Jurassic Park? And I was like, oh yeah, okay. Learn the theme for Braveheart. It was like basic tunes that were coming through, you know. But there is some songs out there that I do refuse to touch.
All right, okay.
Not because that I don't want to give up the time and learn to play it by ear, or I'm thinking, oh, it's too complicated, it's going to take us longer. It's just there's certain songs or like certain pieces of music out there that if you just play it on piano without anything else,
right,
it ruins it. It'll like completely spoil it. One of my favorite instrumental TV theme tunes is Star Trek: The Next Generation, guys. It is. It honestly, it is.
I'll just stop you there, just to clarify. That's actually it's the theme from Star Trek: The Motion Picture. It was reused as the theme from Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's bad that I know that, really, isn't it?
No. Bad. I wouldn't say bad. Well, it is an awesome tune, and I used to get asked loads if I could play it, and I would always say no. In fact, I did once. I think I played the first opening bars, and then after that, I said, I'm going no further. Right. And people thought, why? Is it because you can't play it? You can play it? I said, oh no, I said, I've worked out the actual key signature. I know that the time signature is 6/8 on it. I said, I've already worked out all of that. I says, but the reason why is because it, just by playing the it won't sound good just on a single piano.
Yeah.
You would need,
it needs an orchestra, basically.
You would need the orchestra, because it's all different melodies and harmonies that it all links in.
Yeah.
So by just playing that, you're going to be listening to just that on the piano, and it's not going to sound the same.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that is it's such a great written piece. It's marvelous piece.
Jerry Goldsmith, I believe.
It was Jerry Goldsmith.
I don't want to take too much longer, but I did want to briefly talk about. There's a song that for a very worthy and a very poignant cause that you've written.
Yeah.
For 9/11, basically a charity song to commemorate what happened all those years ago, called "Never Forget."
Yes. That song came about when I was chatting to the producer over in the States. We got talking about that, and I think it was it last September, I do believe. Like myself, never been working, and as you know, the anniversaries, they always honour that anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. And I'd sent through a message saying, look, you know, from all of us here in England, we're thinking of the American people, because I've worked closely with them on like a couple of my songs, and I've worked with a few like American artists who have been over there. And so I sent that, and I sent, well, it's really the only song that ever gets played for like 9/11, which is by Lee Greenwood, God Bless the USA.
Right.
It's that's always been. And I sat there and I was emailing them back and forward, and I went, you know, I says it would be nice to maybe try and do like a charity single, you know. And he was like all up for it. He went, well, could you draft some lyrics and send them over, like email them to the States, and we'll have a look, because you know it is going to be, it's like a horrible event that happened in their country, so he kind of wanted to fully view it, and they do have the actual power to say, sorry, this isn't going to go any further. You know, there's nothing we can do with this, so I'm not going to produce it. You know, they wouldn't just produce anything just to try and make money out of it. They're very stringent on it. So I sent it through, and he went, loved it. He went, lyrics. He went, could you tweak them just like a little bit? And I went, absolutely fine. He went, hey, you come up with any ideas for the music? Yeah. And I went, yeah. I says, I've got some ideas. So I did a rough recording, sent them over. I linked in my producer down in London, Sam. I linked in him. So I did the writing and the score and everything from Maine, sent it down to Air London. Sam provided the vocals, which he really hated us for, because I was very pernickety about the vocals, but I'll touch on them in a minute.
Okay.
And so done that and brought over, and I sent it over to Ed Craig, the producer over in the USA, and I said, so what do you think of that? And he went, it's missing something. I went, right, okay, we can discuss it. He went, this is what I'm thinking of about for like the drums, you know, and everything else. He went, have to have some bass in there. I went, right, fine. I says, I'll leave it in your capable hands. So he did the first recording, sent it over, and I went, I didn't like that. Nah. I says, there's certain parts that are too heavy, I don't need to be heavy. But eventually we'd gotten there, and we'd gotten it sorted. Doing the vocals on it, right? I had said to Sam, I says, right, I went, I don't just want you to sing it. And this is where it may get complicated, but this is how much I take pride in what I do. And it sometimes people think I'm coming across awkward, but I'm not. I said, the way that I want you to sing the lyrics, I said, I want you to sing it, right, in key, but as though your voice is breaking, as though you're going to be ready to break down. I says, I went, it's not to sort of like get like any further attention from it. I went, but I said, because it's 25 years and because that was such a like horrific event, it's like, say, somebody trying to sing and they're doing their best to get the words out, but they're trying to hold back tears at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and he went, I don't know what you mean. I was like, oh, right, okay. So I had to really work with him. So when you first hear it, it sounds like that he's singing out of key, but he's actually not, because when he sent through his vocal, I just sat at the piano and individually played out the melody and harmony line that he was singing, and he's note for note perfect. Note for note perfect. But to some people, it's like, is he singing something out of tune? It's like, no, it's how I've said to sort of to like do it, and we had to work weeks and weeks and weeks on it, just to get it perfect. And he was like, by the like end of it, he was like, I don't want to work with you again. I don't like you. He went, I close my eyes at night and all I can hear is this. But we managed to get it through. Now that song's been released now.
Okay.
And it's on iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, and it's between 79 pence and 99 pence to download, and any money that's made off it gets automatically sent through to my record company, automatically sent through there, and the money is getting sent to the 9/11 the family memorial fund.
Yeah.
So any money that's raised off it, so any streams that I'll get on YouTube, but mainly sort of like any downloads, it's available. You can listen to it on TikTok, but all music platforms that you can buy music off, it'll be on there, and it's literally 79 pence. I think on iTunes, it might be a bit more on Spotify, not too sure, but it's between 79 pence and £1.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get as much money raised as possible.
It's for a good cause.
Yeah, because it's literally going over there, like for them. But that is, I have set up a temporary page on TikTok.
Right.
Right, and it comes under the name Music Survivor.
Okay.
Right. There's only 2 vids on it. And both of them is one is playing a snippet of the 9/11 charity piece, which I know that you're going to be putting on the podcast.
Yeah, and I'll link complete to where you can buy it as well.
And the other one is a slideshow that I put together. So on that page, which I'll send you that.
Okay.
I'll send you that. And it's the page that, if you scroll through, I've done a slideshow of the actual of the events, like leading up. And if you play that song over the slideshow,
I see.
It kind of brings home.
It works better.
Yeah, it kind of really brings.
Well, I'm going to kind of start to wrap things up, so I'm going to basically start hitting you with some rapid fire, very obvious questions that we haven't hit on yet.
Oh, well, then.
So first of all, what is it that's your instrument of choice? You've mentioned drums and piano. Is there anything that specifically you prefer?
Well, drums was my first instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And when I decided that I wanted to carry on with music,
mm-hmm.
I got told that I couldn't go any further until I learned a second instrument.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, I've tried guitar, can't play that, violin, clarinet, no, definitely not for me. And I just went, well, I dabble on piano, can I play a piano? And they went, oh yeah, fine. Which kind of surprised me, because drums is a percussion instrument,
mm-hmm.
right? And so is piano.
Mm-hmm.
And quite a lot of people don't know that piano is a percussion instrument.
Right. Because
basically, a percussion instrument is anything that you hit.
Yeah.
And in fact, what it has been for like years. Yeah, I mean, I used to love playing drums and all that, but I've kind of really settled now, just like piano writing,
right.
and like songwriting.
You
see, I used to always get told that I'm like a Phil Collins.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I can play drums, I can play piano, but I can't dance. Right. In fact, and I can only sing a little bit, nothing compared to how Phil can sing.
And right. There was that time you didn't rescue that guy from drowning, and you probably should have,
Probably. Possibly, I know. But yeah, so I'm more settled now, I think, on like doing the piano, learning by ear, sitting there writing songs. Because my actual goal is to get a full album done.
All right. Okay.
So all the songs that's been mentioned, and I think that's going to be on the album. Okay. But I haven't got a title for the album yet.
No, that's fair enough. I mean,
I just haven't got a title for that yet.
Plenty of time. So the next thing I was going to ask, I mean, I know there's probably going to be a lot of things you could answer this with, but I was kind of curious if you had any kind of favourite musicians or bands. I remember when I knew you in high school, you had a massive compendium of like Toto, the best of Toto, and I noticed a Toto tattoo there. So
Yeah,
is that still one of your all-time favorites? And is there any other bands?
it is, and I was very. I mean, yes, the tattoo there from the very first album. I got that when I was 18.
Really?
18 years old. I got that, and I was fortunate to see Toto down at the Hammersmith Apollo.
Oh, cool!
And I got right the way down to the front, standing. You know, I was absolutely buzzing and amazing. But I mean, as you can recall, the CD shelf that I attached to my bedroom wall, it was all the Toto albums.
It was massive amount.
But as I say, I was brought up with artists like Bread was one of mine. Was one of my favorite groups. The Commodores.
Oh wow! Okay.
Love them. Kind of beat a little bit of Phil and Peter Gabriel in Genesis, right? Genesis. I mean, again, I like stuff. Oh God, the list is just could go
on forever.
It could go on and on and on and on forever.
I know it's a bit of a harsh question.
I'm actually because it's like you could sit for hours and go, I like this, and you could go through them all.
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, say like obviously Elvis, partial to a bit of Buddy Holly.
Okay.
You know, the Beatles. So yeah, I've got a very open sort of genre, and I'm always willing to listen to like new musical styles.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's probably not really one particular influence because you try to vary your style so much anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. Before we go, then you did want to mention a song that you've just kind of come out with, or you've just written called "Find Your Voice Within."
Yes. That's only I've only been working on that a few days, and again I've linked in with Mark Taylor, who wrote the lyrics to "Broken Heart." So on this time he's going to be just working on like the music and the production of it.
Right.
So I'm left just to do the lyrics and to do the musical score.
Okay.
So he's already got a rough draft. I've already sent him through the rough recording. But again, that song, that kind of links in. I kind of got the idea for that song for one of the kids that I pick up, that I take to school with on the Airbus.
Got you.
I suspected some harsh treatment that was happening to this child. Thankfully, turns out that it wasn't. So that was a good thing.
Yeah.
But like initially, as part of my job, I had to do it, and so I had went home that particular night. And that was all that I could think of, thinking, God, is this bad, like risk at home, whatever. And again, a story had just started to form, like in my head. And basically it's about how people out there, you know, from child up into adult, if anybody has suffered any kind of physical abuse, emotional, sexual abuse, anything, don't hide away from it.
Okay.
There's people out there that you can talk to.
Yeah.
There's places that you can go, there's phone lines that you can discuss things in confidential terms and like all of that. But always know that if anyone's trying to silence you in any sort of way, then you'll always find at some point in your life, it could be 10, 20, 30 years down, but you will always find that voice within that you will be able to bellow out and say, do you know what? I don't deserve to be trapped like this. I didn't deserve to be trapped like that. And you're not going to ruin my life anymore.
I see.
You know, so, and that's what the song kind of like centers on. So, and what I normally do is that if I'm feeling down, the first thing I do, I just sit at the piano.
Okay.
And I'll just play it.
Yeah.
So then that kind of came, and before I knew it, I had a full song written within the space of about 20 minutes. And I thought, right, okay, I've got the actual lyrics down now. I don't want the music to be sad and solemn. Right. So this piece is going to be very upbeat. Okay. But it's still getting an actual message across. Yeah. It's not going to be a very solemn song where you're going to listen to it and cry, because that's not what I want.
More of a find your strength ballad.
Yeah, it's sort of like, right, I'm here.
So yeah, I mean, a couple of last things. First of all, being kind of like a film and a media kind of podcast and network here, I've got to ask if there's any particular film scores or soundtracks or anything that you would shout out as being favourites or being inspiration.
Oh yeah, one of my favourite film scores, Jurassic Park.
Oh, nice.
Jurassic Park, and the reason I say that is because years and years ago I played for a local colliery band, and we went down to Skegness to do a few. I think it was the brass band finals or the regionals or something like that. We went down, and each individual band got given like an assigned test piece. Right. That you had to play in front of judges. And the judges were all like high on the scale of music and that. So they had everything written down what they were looking for from the band. And there was a couple of people. There was a band that had gotten the score for Titanic. We in our band got given the score for Jurassic Park, and I was playing timpani and snare drum on it, and the big clash cymbals and everything else. And I think we came second, and it was amazing. The band that won was the band that did the score from The Lion King.
Oh,
but again, there were so many good scores there. The band that did the score for E.T.
Oh, nice.
That was just amazing. There was a band that did the score for Forrest Gump, which was brilliant again. Okay. So it was so difficult to sort of like choose from, but ours was the only one that got a standing ovation.
I see, yeah.
And it was sort of doing lovely Jurassic Park there. It was like, it was absolutely amazing, because everybody got up, and like we had thought that, yes, we've got it in the bag. And then this other band, brass band that came on afterward, and as soon as I knew from the first note that it was The Lion King. Yeah. Right? And I just thought to myself, yeah, we are screwed. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we are screwed, because not only were they were a really good band, but everybody loves The Lion King.
Oh, of course, it's brilliant. Yeah.
You know, everybody loves it. But yeah, I would say so. Yeah, definitely Jurassic Park.
Nice.
I would say it is, and I'm going to have to also say, obviously, for like Titanic, because James Horner. I mean, wow. I mean, the like stuff that he's written, and I've seen the score for it, and it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But it's like amazing as to how he like writes it, and he can just change from one time signature to another within a space of like of like one bar. Yeah. And you can't even hear that gap, and how he links it in, how he links in the different key signature changes, and it's, you know, the like various styles. And honestly, it's like an absolutely fab score. I would say, again, definitely music from the Terminator as well, especially the intro bit.
Brad Fidel.
Oh yes, definitely that one. Like,
that is a fantastic intro.
It's a marvelous intro, especially. No, but you see, again, that's a piece that you could turn into a lounge style if you wanted. You could really slow it down and just play it away nice and gently on the piano, and it would fit. Yeah. As well, it also fits with like a full orchestra behind it. Yeah. But that's a piece where you just know that it would fit, and only because a soft, mellow piece piano bit is played in the first.
Yeah, the start.
Is in the first movie, isn't it? So So but yeah, again, there's loads of films out there that
could. We'll be here all day.
That you could pick from. Loads of them.
Awesome, that's great. So yeah, just to wrap things up, then I just wanted to ask if there's anybody that you haven't mentioned that you wanted to give a shout out to, and that might have influenced you, or that you wanted to to thank, basically, while you're here.
Well, definitely want to thank yourself.
You're welcome.
For actually giving us the opportunity to be able to do this podcast. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Thank you to everybody out there who's taken the time to listen. And just honestly, you are all fab. In everything that you do, you are all fab. And basically a big, shout out to like Craig Durance, who's my producer in the States. Sam Webb, my producer down in there. Young Mark Taylor, who's up and coming through the music ranks now. And I've got a couple other friends who have really supported us through it, where I've been able to send them out like demos and everything else, and they've like took the time. So I've got friends, there's Glenn, Rob, Jim, Pam. I could go on and on and on with like a full list. But those are there. Tony as well. He's another good, like a really good friend of mine. He's the one who every time he has a demo of my song, he'll turn to me and go, "You're wasted being a bus driver." You like, I was like, yes, maybe so, but that's what pays the bills, It's like, that's what sort of pays the air bills. And obviously, of course, me father, I mean, he's always been there. He's been there supporting us all the way through. So yeah, as I say, the like list could go on, but that's like the like main ones. And just want to thank everybody out there, for tuning in and listening. And I hope you buy me songs.
As I said, that's fine. Everything, as I said, will be linked. You will hopefully, if I've had a chance to edit them in, be able to sample some clips that I'll chuck in there. I won't do the whole songs, but I will link to where you can find them on YouTube, and of course a charity single in various places like Spotify and such as well. So that's hopefully if you enjoyed this, as I say, always say, do like, subscribe, share. You can always find all of our information in the episode description, our link tree for the podcasts and so on. And keep listening, like I said, to hear some more of Al's compositions with my podcasts as we go forward. And
absolutely,
just want to thank you for sitting down and chatting with me here, Al. And,
you're more than welcome. Loved it. Loved it. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Again, thanks again if you have listened to this and you've enjoyed it. And hopefully we'll catch you for another one of these soon. Take care.
You have been listening to the Silver Screen Podcast, hosted by Mike Wilson and DK. Behind the Scenes section by DK. Additional material by Mike Wilson. Follow us on social media, our YouTube channel, or wherever you get your podcasts. Link to all of these places can be found via the link tree listed in this episode's description. This podcast is a Media Matters original production, created, produced, and edited by Mike Wilson. We'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, and share us around like a beloved old video cassette. We hope to see you next time for more movie magic. Until then, remember, life moves pretty fast, so stop and watch a movie now and then.